We've reached uncharted territory, and education will never be the same now that we have AI programs in the mix. I'm sure many of you have used them already to help you with your writing, or maybe some of you have never used them before and you're just curious to try. As for me, I have used AI both as a tool in my own professional work, and I've experimented with allowing my students to work with it as well. And it's from my experiences with these experimentations that I make this video for you. I do want to emphasize here something that I've just said, that AI is a tool. It's not a replacement for learning or a substitute for you doing your own work. Part of this has to do with the fact that you are in school, and the point, and it's really a privilege, is that you're supposed to be learning. And I'm supposed to be assessing your work to determine if you've mastered the learning outcomes. I know that you know that copying and pasting an AI output is not learning. Part of this problem with AI is that it has shortcomings. And in my experiences so far, this is what gets students into the most trouble. They trust it too much. Have you not seen The Terminator? This blind trust in technology is what is going to lead to the apocalypse. This video contains information that will help you effectively use AI. It's going to be helpful not only for this class, but for any class you have moving forward, or maybe any professional situation moving forward as well. Now, I've heard this comparison, and I like it, that AI is for writing what the development of the calculator was for math. Now, as you know, I'm sure you used a calculator before, you can't use that tool if you don't understand the math you're trying to do. It's the same with AI. The two main issues with AI is that one, it often contains errors, and I've heard that it like straight makes things up. And two, in general, it's very vague. You want to think of it more like a targeted Google search than a means to an end. My point is that you have to know something about what you're writing about so that you can make sure your output is error-free, and also to make sure that it's specific to your topic. Because keep in mind, you're on the hook for any incorrect information that you submit. Now, I'll explain how to use AI in this class. Believe it or not, AI is not super great when it comes to art history. The reason why is that it provides generalized explanations that usually do not contain interpretations, so you're going to need to fill in the blanks. You're also going to need to demonstrate your understanding of the material, not simply your ability to copy and paste. I already know that you're good at that skill. Now, I'll start by saying this, and you're going to want to keep this in mind for both this discussion board and the final research paper. Because I'm allowing you to use AI, I need to see very specific things so that I can assess your learning. That means that I need to have detailed instructions, and they need to be followed. This is the most important thing that you can do to be successful in this class, and I would even go as far as to say to be successful in life. Be mindful of instructions and follow them. For both this discussion board and the final research paper, I need to determine that even though you're using AI, that you understand the mechanics of formal and iconographic analysis. I can do this by having you show me that you know what the formal and iconographic analysis methodologies entail, and that you understand the difference between these two methodologies. So let's consider how all this works using this painting of Emperor Jin Wudi. Here is the prompt I typed in. You have it on the screen, and I used ChatGPT, and this is what it generated. So you can, if you want, pause a video, kind of like read through, and then come back. So there's a lot of problems with what was generated, and these are problems that you would not be able to identify if you don't understand formal analysis. If you had simply copied and pasted this for your assignment, I would have given you an F. Now let's go through this and I will explain why. I'll also explain how you can work with AI and what it does give you so you can do well in your art history writing assignments. So let's start with the first one, composition. The first issue here, go ahead and pause the video, read it, come back. The first issue here is that composition is not a formal element or design principle, which is what we're looking for when we're conducting a formal analysis. What I suggest is before you start the discussion board, and you can use it for the discussion board and also for your final research paper, have a list of what is a formal element and a list of what is a design principle. And you can make this list from your lecture notes and your readings. If you have a list, you will not be led astray from what AI is generating. You would see composition is not in your list, and you know that this would be an error. Position is not a formal element or design principle, nor is surroundings or symbolic elements, which are actually a part of iconography. So the takeaway here is that AI actually doesn't really know what formal analysis entails exactly. Let's move on. Color. Now, color is a formal element, so that's good. But with formal analysis, color should not be treated symbolically because, again, symbolism is iconography. And again, this assignment is looking for formal analysis. But color can convey mood, and that is part of formal analysis. So there are things here we can work with to meet the requirements of the assignment, and here's how. First, with the identify step, we want to identify the types of colors. AI didn't do this because remember, it tends to be very vague. So you'll need to say what colors are in the artwork specifically. AI says that colors can convey mood or status. Yes, but again, vague, it doesn't say how. That is our second step, describe. We know that red is a warm color. We know it jumps out at the viewer and is aggressive. You will notice that AI makes no attempt to suggest any sort of meaning. So it's our job to do this. An aggressive and intense color can work to convey power and dominance of the main figure depicted here in this painting. And look how I indicated each step. This will be a requirement for you in the assignment. You have to indicate each step. Okay, brushwork and technique. Another problem. Brushwork and technique are not formal elements or design principles. So that would have taken you in the wrong direction if you had just copied and pasted. Again, if you have a list, you will know that this is an error. Now, AI does mention texture and implied movement. Both of these are formal elements, but I will say both are very weak. We cannot see a discernible texture in this painting, nor is there really anything to imply movement. So my other point of advice is you actually want to look at the artwork, which AI is not doing. AI is not looking at this. You want to look at it to see if what AI is discussing is actually in the artwork. The next one, symbolism and iconography. This is a problem we've already talked about. Iconography is not formal analysis. So let's take a look at how we can work with AI and what it's provided us to conduct an iconographic analysis if that was what the assignment was asking for. Now, first, facial expressions and body language are not symbols. This is why it's so important for you to use the 2 symbolism dictionaries that have been provided. This will help to ensure that you are including things that are actually symbols in your iconographic analysis. A symbol is an object that means something other than the meaning we usually attribute to that object. One thing I have noticed is that the primary subject in this painting has a beard. If there's one thing we've learned in this class, besides the fact that there is no such thing as a coincidence, it's that beards are a common symbol for masculinity that appear cross-culturally. So I looked up beard in the online symbolism dictionary, and you can see what I found. So the first thing you want to do is identify the symbol. The second thing to do is look it up and cite it in the text. You are required to cite the dictionary that you used. Otherwise, it reads as though you're assuming the symbolism or you're making it up. The third step is to connect the meaning of the symbol to the subject matter, what's depicted, to suggest an interpretation of the artwork. Since you are using AI, I want you to demonstrate to me that you've done your due diligence with fact-checking by conducting additional research. This makes your citations especially important for this assignment and for your final research paper. Please keep in mind that it's not simply citing that's important, but that the formatting itself is accurate. This is one of the learning outcomes of this course. I'm not just asking you to do this for funsies. Now, this is a sample discussion board post and works cited section. Please note that in the works cited section, it's in alphabetical order by author's last name or by the article title if no author is given. If there is no author, don't just make the website name the author. It's okay to start your citation out with no author and just have the article title, which you can see I've done here with masculinity in men's history. Please also note that the works cited section is aligned to the left margin and that in each entry, any line after the first is indented. The idea behind a works cited page is that someone who is reading your work might want to consult the source you're citing. So you want your reader to be able to scan down the beginning, like the beginning of the entries, the front of your works cited section, so that they can quickly find the source. That means that whatever is at the front of your entry for the works cited page, that's what you put in your in-text citation. You can see the correlation. If you look at my in-text citations, you see the in-text citation is the same as what is at the beginning of each entry in the works cited page. Don't just grab something random out of the middle of the works cited entry and stick it into the citation. That would force your reader to read through every single entry to find the source you're citing. And remember, with MLA, no comma in the in-text citation. To work on your citations in the discussion board and do this for the final research paper, please consult the quick guide I provided. It's the easiest thing. You literally just look at my formatting and copy it when formatting your own. I would suggest you avoid using citation generators. They usually have errors, and it's common that the formatting is lost when you copy and paste. Hopefully this brief video has helped you get a sense of how to use AI and to help you work on your writing assignments while avoiding self-destruction.